let's start with the design statement. So how I actually come up with this design is starting from this apparatus model. And this apparatus model is a responsive model of our site analysis. And I have actually chosen the topic which is the context building studies. So from this site analysis, I have actually concluded that the whole Taiping town has actually one principle, which is this radial principle of the layout of all the buildings surrounding it. So as you can see from here, this this newspaper material here, this represents the Taiping market that is actually the center of the whole town, because the town actually expanded from the Taiping market. So the further away the buildings are from this Taiping market, the newer the building is. So that means basically the township planning actually started with the center of this Taiping market. So moving on, for this purpose of community space is basically an extension of the wet market. So I've chosen two users here. The primary user is the coffee vendor and the secondary user is primary students. So for coffee vendor, when I think of coffee vendor, I think of all age group and family oriented. It's because when we go to the coffee shop or coffee vendor, we can actually see families from young to old. They sit down together and they enjoy their meals together and spend time there. So I have this proposal, which is to have a common kitchen at this community space. Why common kitchen? Is because it is near the Taiping wet market and where you can get all your groceries to cook. So after you go to the market, you can straight away use this common kitchen where locals can host their classes, their workshop, and for like housewife to gather together to share cooking recipes, like classes for children, cooking classes. And the second one is the business kitchen. So basically it's like a commercial kitchen where hawkers can use the space and they can get their ingredients from the Taiping market, and then they come over to this community space where there are already potential customers who want to enjoy their meal there. Yeah, this is two different kitchens and activities. And the secondary user is a primary student. So for primary student, when I think of student, I think of a space where they need is learning space and space to have fun and have new experiences. So basically, I propose a mini library and a discussion room for the students' use. We can understand easily by looking at this bubble diagram. So as I was talking about the kitchen, that would be like my main activity for the whole community space. So I will want to put it right at the center. As you can see here from the bubble diagram, there's the common kitchen and the business kitchen next to each other. And then on both sides, there are these supporting spaces. One is gathering space and one is like sitting space. So what these two spaces are actually for people to enjoy their meal after they cook at the kitchen, and also for the hawkers where they do their business. So you can also have a sitting space. And gathering space basically is just for the locals to gather together at a community space. And this red color is the ground floor, and as you can see here from the blue color is the mezzanine floor, which is the floor above. So above there will be a mini library and discussion room and also the management office. So this mini library is basically for the students. And as you can see from this bubble diagram, that all the spaces are looking towards the kitchen, because I want everyone in this space to have a connection with this kitchen, as it is the main activity of the community space. Moving on, here is the user profile and timeline of the spaces. Basically is my two users that I've chosen. One is Wante, the coffee vendor, and one is Ruben, the primary student. This is the point that we should focus on, which is the suggestive schedule. So as you can see here, this dark brown color is actually the time where both users will be overlapping time and using the community space together. This is just our suggestion. So yes, basically we suggest that usually these both user will only use it together mostly during the weekends, because the student is majority at school. Alright, so design concept. Let's straight away start from this responsive to schedule and accommodation. So responsive to schedule and accommodation is basically like the messing model. So as you can see here, there is three arrows. These three arrows basically indicates where the majority circulation of people are coming from: the shop lot here, the pasar, and also from this koperasi, which is actually like an open space and there's a car park there. So this will be like my idea what I want my layout to be. So the middle will be the kitchen, and then like the sitting space at the side, and this whole place is like circulation of the corridor for the indoor space. And okay, moving on to this responsive to apparatus model. So basically this is another study model, but adding in the natural element. So from here, as you can see, I also want this tree entrance here, and this whole building, as you can see here that I've sketched out, is very open and ventilated, because I want the people who come to this building, they can actually feel the nature of typing. Like I want them to experience the weather. When we went there for site visit, we've noticed that in the afternoon it's really hot, and in the evening it usually rains. So it's a drastic change in weather, and also it's very interesting. Therefore, I want everyone at this space to experience this nature element. And moving on to this meshing development, basically it's just laying out the spaces, and towards like the structure and framing. Alright, so this is the meshing model for the one that I was talking before. So as you can see here, the meshing model, there is this hole in the middle. So this center part, I actually put the kitchen here. So this place, the kitchen is the center of the whole community space, and I want all the spaces surrounding it to actually view into this kitchen, and everyone will know what's happening in the community kitchen. Therefore, you can see here is the library. They can actually look down, management office as well, and also the discussion rooms. So basically it's a very open space, and everywhere that you are, you can also view into the community kitchen. Moving on, this is the apparatus model plus a natural element model. So as you can see, it's very open, and I want it to be well ventilated. Okay, this one is study model 3, which is basically a progress from the apparatus model just now. So I want to keep the pitch roof, as it has rainy weather in typing. So the pitch roof is a good solution. And as you can see here, this is the center. Is also where I would place the community kitchen. So basically the whole idea, the concept is to place the kitchen in the center. As from the beginning, I already said that I started my design from the apparatus model with the principle of the radial principle. Therefore, the radial principle here, the center would be the community kitchen and other spaces surrounding it. And this is the study model 3. So as you can see here, I have done a study model with this water harvesting in the center and this pitch roof. So this is the site plan for typing site. So this is the community space, and there is shop lots at this end, and the typing wet market will be here, and this Bangunan Sri Laut. So as just now I was saying, there is three main circulation where people will actually come and walk in. Is from this shop lot here, coming in from here, and the typing wet market coming in from here, and this Koperasi Bangunan Sri Laut coming in from here. So these are like the main three entrance. So this is the side section, this is the market, and this is the behind it will be the shop lots. So this is the ground floor plan, and from this ground floor plan you can see that there are three entrances. So this entrance is from the shop lot, and this side will be facing the typing wet market, and this side is where the existing car park is. So when you come in from here or any other entrances, you can see that this whole space is an open space. There are no like solid walls blocking the view of the whole space. So wherever that you are, you can see what's happening around. So when you come in from here, where I propose and suggest that most of the hawkers would, because from this side, you come in, there is this store here for the business kitchen. So the hawkers can come in and then they can store their equipments inside this store, and then they can proceed at the business kitchen. So once you come in, you can see this indoor garden, which is like a double volume indoor garden is to beautify the space inside and to feel like you are in a more natural space. And so from this layout here, you can see that there's this square here. This square is actually the rainwater harvesting element. So it also works as a partition for these two community kitchen. You can see on this floor plan, there is also two seating and two dining spaces. So what's the difference of these two? The business dining is basically for the business kitchen where people will be doing business. So it is easier for them to serve if the space is nearer. Therefore, I separated both spaces, and also it is better where um, the locals and also the customers, they don't mix up the seating, because some hawkers dislike it when people just sit at their seating spaces, or they block the spaces when they are doing business. And therefore there is another community dining and seating. So this side is basically for the locals, or the users that they come and they want to enjoy the space. Yes, so this is nearer also to the community kitchen. Same reason as the business dining, why it is located in two different sites. So moving on, this is the mezzanine floor. So when you come up from the stairs, you will see the management office first. Then behind here is the mini library and the discussion rooms. So this water feature element is made out of glass. Therefore, from this side, you can also see there's a possibility where you can see what's happening at the kitchen. Yes, so from this discussion room, you can also see what's happening down here from the void, and also from this side. So as you can see that this one is, as I've mentioned, is a glass material for this rainwater harvesting. Is when it rains, you can see the rainwater flowing down, and also to allow natural sunlight to enter this space during the daylight. So from this side, this mini library, as you look down in this void, you can also see the indoor gardens. And on this side, you can see the what's happening and at the seating spaces and also the kitchen. So moving on, this is the front elevation. As you can see, this whole space is very open and welcoming, as outside you can see clearly what's happening on the inside, and on the inside you also can view outside. So this square things here, and this one is actually weather blinds, where I have added in and suggested that there needs to be a weather blinds in case it rains heavily. Then these weather blinds will block out all the rain from entering into the community space. And from this front elevation, we can also see that this is a low wall. So this low wall is basically just to differentiate the interior and exterior of this community space. So from the back elevation, so this back elevation, there is this outdoor garden. So these two sides is the M&E, the services. So it is a full height wall where everything is blocked out, and this side is open, because as you can see from this side plan, right, the indoor garden will be here, and there is this walkway lorong here. So I propose to open up this space so that the people passing by can also experience the space here. And this is the entrance. So this one is the side elevation. And as you can see, this square here is actually the space where the rainwater is collected from this pitch roof, and also on this side. And moving on, this is the section A. So you can see that this whole space is again very open, and this will be the center here would be the kitchens. This is the library, and this is the management office. So the entrance is from this side and this side, and behind here would be the M&E services, where is the toilet and the M&E room. And this section B, you can also see the spaces. So this one is also with the weather blinds on three sides, the front, back, the front and the side. Okay, and this one is the detailed section. So as you can see that the roof is actually metal deck roof, and this joint here, the roof is actually a steel structure. Joining to this column is a RC column. So there will be this steel cap joint joined with this bolt and nuts to actually join this RC column and this steel structure, roof steel structure together. moving on, this is the exterior perspective, and this is an interior perspective, and this is my final model. There's a short video. So from this video, this is the front with the low wall, and there will be weather blinds here, and this is the side. As you can see, this is the entrance, and this is the rainwater harvesting element, and this is the back. So there will be this open space here is the interior indoor garden, and this is the M&E. And that is all for my presentation. Thank you very much.